They even got. I'm watching it on BBC. The like opening montage. I was like, maybe they're not so bad. Maybe this is good.
Oh, you're a sucker for propaganda, Will.
But then they immediately went to. In other news, here's some footage from outside Wembley of some people breaking in. And you know what Lineker and them said about it? How they, like, stamped it out or, like,
No.
got away from it. They went, hey, at least we have our tickets, eh? And then they went, ha ha ha.
Really?
Onto the game.
Oh, wow.
That's it. Yeah. Nothing about, like, it's a disgrace and all of that. Just like, what are you going to do?
Fuck. It must be the coke, is it? Like, I know drugs aren't a new thing, and coke certainly isn't a new thing, but like, it just the readiness of it, the affordability of it. Like, if you take pills or something like that, like, you're on a different planet. Like, you're not actually at the game at all. Whereas you take coke, you're just a slightly more aggressive and seemingly more daring version of yourself. You're just gonna, actually, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's more of us than there's them. Let's push past them. Who does that if they're not on coke? I mean. And apparently there was queues outside the outside pubs all up and down the country since 8 a.m. I mean, partly because you have to book a seat to get in there, so you have to get in early. Then how early should we go? And like maybe before it even opens. Yeah. And with the best will in the world, I wouldn't be able to drink all day.
No chance. I don't care if Ireland are playing in the universal final to decide the best country
for 12 hours
in the universe.
Like, no way. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. That was before the game even started. And then you're watching the game for another, 120 minutes plus penalties. I mean, it's like the Tour de France.
No
it's
chance.
like a race that was never designed to be finished. And now you have these, you need drugs to compete that race, like to be crowned king of the hooligans. Like, they were like, we didn't think anyone would survive. How are they all here? It's like, oh yeah, they're all on drugs, man.
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense. But listen, I've been on that road before. Nonsense. Fucking nonsense. Why should we accept somebody talking nonsense? Like, what would you say? Just why are you talking nonsense about us? Why are you talking rubbish?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast with Cathal and Will. Euro 2020 final edition. How are you, Will? How are you feeling?
I'm buzzing, delighted for some reason.
Yeah.
Almost like a great weight has been lifted off my shoulder.
I was happy as a man with the flair up his arse.
Imagine being that guy the next day after they lost. Oh man!
I mean, it was all people could talk about was the guy with the flair up his arse. Oh, he's just like waking up like, oh, what happened last night? I feel like something terrible happened, but I don't know what it was. I mean, that was. I mean, like I will say, right? It's funny to imagine the butt of the flare like up his rectal cavity, but to say it wasn't actually up his arse. I mean, no one like he would have to prepare for weeks for that. I mean, he just like it was kind of between his cheeks.
Yeah,
it wasn't up the anus. You know what I mean? It's funny to think that, but I mean, oh god. I mean, I will say because I know I advise people to watch on British TV, but do as I say, not as I do. I watch an RTE, and so I'm watching the some of the pre-match coverage, and I'm just seeing like bits and pieces. Previously throughout the day, I wasn't watching. Much of it, but initially it looked like good crack. I was kind of like, oh, I kind of wish I was there. I wish I was doing that. I wish I was at a big party. And then as the game kind of got close to the game, I think it was the pictures of Leicester Square.
Yeah,
it was just trashed.
Yeah, in their
own
country,
bottles everywhere. It's just it's shocking. Like, I mean, they did the same thing when Rangers won the league. Like, just wrecked the Glasgow. I know it's like you might say, well, that's kind of half Celtics as well, so fuck them or whatever. But Liverpool when they won the league, I guess because it's just outdoor dining. Like we don't do that in Ireland and England and Scotland. That so I mean, it's like usually we just wreck the pub inside and the bar staff cleans it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is not good either. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but like if you were like you were just not used to using like outdoor facilities. We're used to just having a cramped indoor place, getting charged. I say when you're getting charged ridiculous amounts for pints and stuff, you're like, fuck them. Again, it's not the bar owners who set the prices are going to be clean up. It's going to be the bar staff who are on minimum wage. So it doesn't make any sense either. But like, it's just this kind of sense of, fuck it, sure, someone else to clean up after me. Yeah. And then you bring it outside and you have puke and piss and shit and beer all over the place. Like, this is where you live. Like, This is meant to be some like great patriotic island in England, and it's like they fucking wrecked their own country. So I mean, it makes no sense.
Well, that was the wartime spirit Southgate was calling on. He needed all of his soldiers behind him, because what was it he said? He was like, "When people forget how much we've done as one small island, well, you're a fucking big island of multiple countries. Some of them don't even want to be part of it. Like, what we've done, bad stuff. It's all bad."
Well, this is the thing. Like, it's like you say, it's all this fake kind of wartime spirit of the Blitz, kind of. Like I don't hate any individual English person who I don't know, who I've never met. It's more their national identity of, and it comes from the war of like the kind of plucky upstart who stood up to Hitler and all that, which. It wasn't even true at the time, really. They're just trying to protect their own empire. But like all that aside, they've kind of latched onto this, and they think that they're the underdog when it comes to like tournaments or anything, and they can't understand why people don't. Why wouldn't you support the underdog? It's like because you're not the underdog.
Well, like you said, they're the most expensive team in the tournament.
Yeah, well, the most valuable according to transfer market, anyways. I mean, might say that's Premier League over inflation or whatever, but like, they act like, how well we did to get here. To get this far, it's like, I mean,
you should be getting this far every single tournament.
Yeah, if anything, you've underachieved.
Yeah, like when I saw like Lineker and them saying like, "Oh, this is like a real team," it's better than a lot of the England teams of the past. I was like, better than the team with all of ye on it, or better than the team with like Gerrard and Scholes and everyone. Like, the teams have always been unbelievable. You just can't get over yourselves.
But I think it's just because, like, when they lose, like, oh, well, it looks like they were shite the whole time. Sorry, guys. We got that one wrong. These guys are terrible. That's always the reaction to it. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, again, the players, I get, even when it was John Terry and Rio Ferdinand, it wasn't like, oh, bloody John Terry's ever going to stop going about this when I'm talking to him. Like, I'm never going to see him. It's more the media and everybody around it that's never going to stop talking about it. So, I mean, the players can be likable, unlikable. It doesn't make much odds. I mean, even after the game there, I heard them saying 498 days to the World Cup. I was like, oh, yeah.
They never
Here we go. But, like, this is what it is now. This is, like, to the next one. So, and then, like, the fans, really, it's I mean, early on, it looked like good crack, but you go from 8 a.m. Forget about it. It looked awful at the end. Like, imagine trying to get to the other side of that pit in Leicester Square where they're throwing bottles and stuff. Like, I have to go over there. I don't want to go
get to
around.
work.
Like, plenty of people, I'm sure, were back in retail and stuff like that, trying to get to the other side of that mound of people. Yeah, and then inside the stadium, that was where we kicked off.
Yeah.
Am I right in thinking, Will, that Wembley is kind of like a Disney World type thing now, where it's like a huge big complex, and then the ground is in the middle of it? Like, there's like,
I think so. Yeah.
That's how they could get in so many places.
Yeah, they just stormed all of the different entrances.
Yeah. I mean, people were kind of giving out. There's been an investigation launched into the security and why wasn't enough police presence, and this is a major final. You should be expecting this. It's like, yeah, that's fine, but is the real problem that you have to watch everyone? Like, you have to have a man for every man, and if not, they're going to rush the stadium and trample over stewards.
Yeah. Like, because we're doing well in the tournament.
because I want to get in. But you didn't buy tickets. I don't care. I want to get in, so I'm going to run over people.
I'm here now, aren't I? Let me in.
Like, apparently for the Premier League, they have, I think, a guard or a policeman for every 2 or 3 persons attending the games. Like, that's how much they have to have. Yeah. And even still, it kicks off and lads get in trouble all the time at Premier League games.
Yeah, but so I remember a few months ago during the protests and stuff, Liverpool and United, where they had places locked down with helicopters and dogs and horses. They should have done that for Wembley.
Well, I'd say they probably underestimated how many people would show up because, well, I think there was 250,000 people there on the day.
Yeah,
with and without tickets. You know, I'm assuming this is total fucking speculation, but like a lot of the time these things are done on Excel sheets. Yeah, where it's like, well, there's only however percentage capacity, it's not full capacity, so therefore we need this X amount of policemen, X amount of thing. Rather than like, people will show up at 8 o'clock in the morning to queue to get into the pub, and they'll be there all day, and they'll be taking copious amounts of various white powders. Like, that's not on your Excel sheet because it's not above board, it's not legal, it's not how things should work, but that's how it's going to go. So, like, yeah, you'd say that the police should have... Well, in England, any other place should give them a pass, but in England, they should know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But then, too, it's like, just fucking hell, like, from wrecking your own city to pushing past, to pushing in to the stadium. I mean, why do that stuff? Like, I mean, it's just...
Yeah. You know what annoys me about it as well? And this has been going on for ages. I first noticed this when we were in Amsterdam, when they were wrecking the place there. And then after the game, that was big news because they were especially outrageous on that trip. But after the game, I remember all the players went over and were clapping the fans, and Southgate was talking about like how good the support was and stuff. It's like, has no one told them? Like, do they? Surely at some stage the players and the manager needs to be like, lads, cop on. Because again, before the game, Southgate was talking about how good the support was, and like the trip here was amazing. It's like, well, you definitely took a different route to most of the other people who went there. Like, certainly someone, because it's like when a politician's telling you, like, stop getting so rowdy for the football, you're going to be like, fuck off. What do you know? But like, if you had, I don't know, fucking Jordan Pickford or someone saying, like, lads, calm down a bit, please, they might go, okay.
Well, I think that the fans that they'd be appealing to are the same ones who are booing them for taking the knee. So it might still fall on deaf ears.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I say this, most people are good. Like, the majority of the English fans probably seeing that going, oh, for fuck's sake. Like, again, you've embarrassed us again. But because, like I said, 250,000 of them, if there's, 5,000 people there that's a lot of fucking rowdy, coked up hooligans who were going to rush over people. Now, apparently it was in the hundreds of people who got into the stadium. So it wasn't even that many, but like 5,000 of 250 is a small minority.
I don't know if you
saw the group, but
I don't know if you saw Miguel Delaney's tweets about it while it was happening. It was so funny. He was like a large group of fans are after rushing in and sitting down in the press seats in front of me, and like they're all looking around, clearly not supposed to be here. And there was a few more tweets like that. And then the last one was a lot of arguing going on in the stadium. I described the atmosphere as leery. And then one more tweet where he went, a potent smell of hash as well.
Yeah. Honest to God. And then the videos of them coming into the stadium were even better. I mean, because at first I thought my initial reaction was Italian fans, that they were punching or whatever, because I couldn't really tell where we were in the stadium. What I was looking at was the stewards like holding the doors like Lord of the Rings, holding back the door of the orcs coming in, and I guess the English fan who'd got tickets decided they were going to be the Riders of Gondor. Ride out with me.
Ride out and meet them.
And they were meeting the lads coming in and just swinging at them as they came in.
I love the thoughts. I love the thought of the Italian fans like sitting, looking. They're just like, "What is going on?"
Like they were running in, and just like there was one particular like bald-headed man who looked anywhere between late 30s to early 60s, like one of those lads. Like you've no idea what he even is. You can't tell by the clothes he wears. It could be anything. And he split some 16-year-old right inside the head, then ran over, hit another lad, and then hit another lad, and then look, they started, one leg got knocked his arse, and a lad started kicking him on the ground. So okay, well, he stopped. You've stopped him. Kicking him on the ground is just, it's not your right to give out punishment to these people.
Yeah.
And then the stewards were like, all right, lads, come on, stop kicking him on the ground. And then they do your job, do your fucking job. They started getting mad at the stewards. Then it's like, these guys just want to fight somebody. This is
they don't care really.
The horn of Helm Hammerhand shall sound in the deep one last time.
It's like last summer when the Black Lives Matter came out to protest, and then these boys came to protest the Black Lives Matter, and then the police came to aggressively move off the Black Lives Matter. And then the other boys like, let's fucking fight. And the police like, no, we don't want that. And then they started fighting the police instead. It's like, all right, so this is nothing about anything. This is just about you wanted to punch somebody.
You're fighting the common enemy in this fight.
You've turned on each other, but you weren't actually ever on the same side. You were just, fucking mercenaries or hired goons who wanted to punch somebody. It was a fucking mess. Like, it was an absolute mess. And as you said there, I mean, the 2030 World Cup. Troy Parrott's World Cup. Forget about it now.
We won't even fucking make it. We're not going to qualify. Why bother? We would have been guaranteed. We would have had games at home, guaranteed in the tournament. Oh man.
No, it's all gone now. I mean, we're gonna have to qualify that fair and square.
Oh God. Do you see how good Denmark have gone?
I mean, odds are it'll be in a group with Denmark, Austria, and probably Sweden again. And all hammer us.
It does seem like everyone's gone very good, and we've gotten worse.
I think we've got better too. It's just they've all gotten a bit better faster. Who knows? But I mean, I guess there was a game as well, Will. That we should probably talk about. The first thing was that the English lineup was leaked 8 hours previously.
That happened every game, I think. I'm nearly sure that happened every game of the tournament for them. So someone is doing it. Because I always knew whether it was Saka, Sancho, or whoever was starting that morning, pretty much. Because I remember for fantasy, I made changes based on that once or twice, and it was right every time.
The rumours used to come out, right? The rumours usually always like, apparently Foden and Mount aren't playing, and I'm like, what are we going to do? And then inevitably they wouldn't be playing. They changed the formation again. Gareth Southgate, master tactician.
He showed his true colours as the night went on. Didn't he?
We'll get into that in a little bit. We'll try to do it as chronologically as I can remember. It was like Mount and Sterling behind Kane in like a 4-2-3-1 in some I saw. Then others said, "Oh no, it's a 4-3-3, just Mount on the wing." But as the game started, the first 2 minutes, and Shaw scored in the second minute,
an unbelievable goal. It was amazing.
Trippier to Shaw, wing back to wing back. I mean, what game's that remind you of in this tournament, Will? The unstoppable combination. And I thought, fuck, he's done it.
Yeah,
he's fucking done it. He's got the perfect system that they've actually been working on the entire time. He's been playing the long game this entire time. Yeah. He spotted, Emerson, Di Lorenzo, the 2 weak spots of this Italian team. And it's the wing backs are perfect. It's like, is the winger marking him? Is the fullback marking him? Yeah. Wing back to wing back goal. I'm like, oh no, this is going to be like 2-3-0. It's going to probably end 4-1. This is going to be over before it even begins. Mm-hmm. And then for probably the next 10-15 minutes, England were on top. Italy didn't seem like they had.
I think they passed out France in those 10 minutes as the best football all tournament. I was like, oh my God, they're actually savage. Everything
so well.
Every touch of the ball was again, like I say the whole time, like something out of a Pepsi ad. Just like tricks, long passes, chesting it down, long passing it back. It was mental.
It was desperate times. I tell you what I thought was going to happen next was that Kane was going to hit a screamer from outside the box.
Yeah.
Because he, like the first goal, it was Shaw got it like just outside his own box, passed it into the middle, where of course Harry Kane was going to be, because why wouldn't he be in the middle of the pitch in literally the first minute of the game? He's dropped that deep. He passes the ball out to Trippier and then wing back to wing back. I thought they're going to push forward now on top. Kane's going to be not quite up with Chiellini and Bonucci, not quite in the middle. He's going to find some space, and he hits those shots for Tottenham all season. I thought that's what's going to happen next. We 2-0. This place is going to erupt again.
Yeah.
Like, I know I like to read too much into like post-match slow motion close-ups of players' faces, but the Italians looked shook after that goal. That was not part of their plan. They were like, "What the fuck? Like, where's the defender?"
It was
like.
Well, because they had so many extra people in the stadium, it was literally one of the most raucous atmospheres I've ever done in a game. It was It was like something out of a film. Like, the whole place was bouncing.
Yeah. And I don't know, was it that they just thought, well, look, we're 1-0 up. Like, they kept putting their hands to their head, like saying, like, calm down, calm down.
That was worrying. I was like, oh no, they're thinking.
But I think they overthought it. I mean, look, if you can say that Southgate should have some effect on the team, like his whole approach to the game, like they were 1-0 up, protect what they kind of had. And then Italy kind of were able, like they're still a good side, but when you have them rocked, that's when you finish it there and then. Italy recovered, kind of started playing their way back into the game. And like the momentum was kind of gone then. And I think it was Ronnie Whelan on commentary was like, at half time, they're like, you know, even though they're 1-0 down, Italy be pretty happy here that they're still in this game. Because the first 5 minutes, I was like, oh no, it's over. It's over. But they you know, a coward dies 1,000 times, Will.
I need to, when you mentioned Ronnie Whelan, I was watching on the BBC. Jermaine Genius gave one of the most bizarre commentary performances I've ever seen, because you know when like Neville is doing a United game or Carragher's doing a Liverpool game, they're obviously biased and they'll be like excited if something good happens, but they don't take it too serious. Like, they're not like giving out or anything like that. They try not to. Jermaine Genius, every time a pass went wrong or someone missed a shot, I think Sterling missed a shot, and Genius went, "Oh, you're joking me." And
you're joking me, Sterling.
He kept giving out to what's the other commentator, Guy Mowbray. He kept. It started off like Guy would say like, "Oh, good passage play from England," and then England would give the ball away, and he goes, "Oh, careful, Guy, you know, commentators curse." But then a bit later in the game, Genius was obviously stressing out. And the same thing happened again, and he went, "You have to stop doing that, Guy," really seriously, as if it actually affected the game.
Oh my God.
He's like, "You have to stop."
Like me saying, "Look, Will, I want you to pick Harry Kane in your fantasy team, okay? Because when you do, he doesn't play well. So do that, all right? I'm serious." Jermaine, weren't you a professional footballer once? Like, did you actually think these things mattered when you were playing? Fucking hell. Yeah, the RT coverage was pretty good, honestly. Anybody who watched that, Duffer was in top form.
Oh, I imagine, yeah. My player of the tournament, easy.
Star of the match, Damien Duff. No, he was great in post match. Had some of his all time great lines at the start of the tournament. He was predicting who's going to win. It was so good.
So who's your pick?
I think if we see a top Italian performance tonight, Dara, and a top English performance, I'll go with an Italy win. If the game is played with one ball rather than two, I'll go with an Italy win. And I think if the VAR official is brave and courageous in his decisions, I'll go Italy win.
Okay, so definitively Italy.
Yeah.
But I mean, the second half then, it was kind of, I think at the end it was it's like 68% possession for Italy.
Yeah, I think so.
Which, like I say, after the first 10-15 minutes, you would have thought they'd do well to even stay in this game.
For about half an hour as well, it was give the ball to Chiesa and let him do something. And he nearly did every time. There was a few times where he ran by like 3 or 4 lads, got a shot in between 2 defenders. He was amazing in that game.
Yeah, Chiesa was their main threat for sure. There was one bit where he got fouled a couple of times by Declan Rice and just kept going. Again, why didn't he go down? He got touched there. I mean, the pace that man was going at, surely that would have sent him flying over.
Surely it's impossible to stay standing in that pace.
Yeah. And look, not that Italy didn't have their fair share of the dark arts in this game alone. The one that we can all remember, Chiellini dragging Saka back by the scruff of the neck.
He said nope.
Yeah, and that was the last minute of the game. I know, like I said, I was watching on RT. Maybe you saw the tweets about it. Ronnie Whelan was baying for a red card there. He was first thing he said was that a goal through an opportunity? Was that a goal through an opportunity?
But if it was, it's a yellow. That's not a red, isn't it?
I think he's like last.
Was he last man back?
Well, this is what I mean. He was on the halfway line. I mean, it's sometimes I struggle where it's like on the edge of the box. Like I don't know whether would cover have gotten back there, maybe. So to call that from the halfway line, say he was in there. It's like, okay, a lot has to happen before he gets that ball in the goal, or before he gets a chance at the goal. So I mean, it was a weird kind of. It's like read the room, Roddy. I mean, I mean, I was just thinking about this, like that. Ronnie, like, obviously was part of a very successful team over in the 80s at Liverpool. I don't know if he's still living there or whatever, but he probably has like fond memories of being in Liverpool for years. Whereas Damien Duff was obviously at Blackburn, and then he was on a good team at Chelsea, but not for long. And then it was Newcastle and Fulham. Like, he's very much a lad from Ireland who was working over there. You know what I mean?
And I think like I'd say his biggest pride is like the World Cup in 2002.
Yeah.
Like that.
Exactly. So I mean, he probably sees the English in a different light than Ronnie Whelan does. He probably, some of my best friends are English. That's probably Ronnie's view of it. So,
but Duff's best friend is Robbie Keane.
Yeah. And there's another instance. The Jorginho stamp on Grealish.
Man, they would not fuck up about that on BBC. After the game was done, they went back to it. And they were like, no, it's definitely red. It wasn't. His foot bounced off the ball. What can you do?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think there was kind of any malice behind it. Same as the Swedish one, where he kind of went for the ball, and then, it was just, it looked pretty bad then when he caught him. I mean, I don't think he was like, oh, here comes Grealish, I'm going to stamp on him.
Yeah.
But... yeah, Ronnie was baying for his blood in that one too. He wanted him off. And then at the last penalty, he was like, oh, well, this man... I think he called him before the penalty. He said, he's probably going to take the winning penalty here and he should be off. It's like... I mean, on Jack Grealish of all players. I mean, what the fuck, Ronnie? What's going on here?
What did you think of the ref in that game? I thought it was the best referee I've seen for as long as I can remember. He didn't give anything that shouldn't have been given, like...
No, I mean, as the game went on, he just went, no, that's not free now.
Yeah.
Like, maybe in the last game or in the first half, but not now, Jack Grealish. Like, the most foul player came on and tried to win fouls, and he wasn't getting given them. Harry Kane wasn't getting given the soft freeze.
Sterling did the thing over and over and over.
Yeah.
Every time he got the ball, sprint into the box, turn, fall, hope for the best. And just every time the ref, it was good because the ref wasn't just like, no foul. Every single time he gave a get up, come on.
Yeah. Sometimes they just like they look at and they ignore it and they look away and they go, I can't give that free. He's like, that wasn't a fucking free. But it's not like, I mean, this is the one, like, obviously I'm probably a little biased as well, but like, I think with the dark arts or diving or cheating, wherever you draw the line, it's like when Stoke used to do this kind of like shithousery stuff, it was like, oh, fuck them, because you knew they couldn't do anything else.
Yeah,
like, you knew they didn't have the capacity to play off the park. Whereas this Italy team, like I said, they start off games, playing unbelievable football, and then when they need to, they can drag it back and they can, stay down longer. Whereas like England, what chances did they create other than Sterling going down the box? Like, if that's all you're doing, then that's not in the spirit of the game. It's like if you're playing them off the park and it's 3-3 or something like that, and then you go down and win a penalty. It's like, they were probably it's just when you feel like you're not adding anything else. So that's your only plan is to run and go down. Then,
I loved that Bonucci and Chiellini were definitely told it because they started doing it from the second half for the rest of the game, and it kept working. every time Pickford hit a ball long, when they went up for the header, they just immediately headed it backwards to Donnarumma, and it worked every single time. And just thinking, like, well, they can't. They're definitely going to catch them out eventually. Nope, it never failed. It was so good. It's so clever every time.
Well, what was that? They kept just lumping it along to Kane. Like,
in between the two best defenders.
The most lauded defenders in the tournament. Yeah. I mean, Bonucci and Chiellini seeing long balls coming up and just heading it backwards all day. That was a dream to them. It's like, thank God we don't have to run. Like, I mean, honest to God, I mean, there was that passage of play where Chiellini's like bombing up the outside in the 120th minute. And I think, that's why you give him a pass for maybe pulling people back, because like he's not like he's this, like if they were losing 3-0 and he does that pull back, it's like, that's just fucking bullshit now. You're just being dirty. Yeah. But when it's to Wayne, or when it's, coupled with really good defending all game. But I mean, England seemed to have no chance. They had one shot on target, which was the goal. Yeah,
Kane had no touches of the ball in the box at all. They're centre forward.
And like, why wasn't he taken off?
Because the rules, Scott. He's not allowed. The only people that are allowed to get taken off are people that I've just brought on.
Well, yeah, he brought on Henderson, took him off again. Not the best penalty taker, as we saw. But like
Henderson as well. I thought that actually was a good call. I thought Henderson was brutal from the moment he came on. I don't think he did anything right, really. Just unlucky game for him. But I don't know, bringing off Grealish again, that was fucking... I don't know.
No, he brought him on.
I got mixed up. Yeah, the game. I got mixed up with the game before.
I mean, like, no, the substitutions like were bizarre, because like we said this, that like they have from before the tournament even started, like who are they going to bring? Who are they going to leave at home? Like, how can they leave Jesse Lingard at home? He's playing so well. the squad, like, I mean, Foden was injured, picked up some kind of knock, and that obviously made up Gareth Southgate's mind. Well, then I won't use anybody. If I can't use my friend Phil, then forget it. I'm not bringing on Sancho.
Did you see his quote after the game? I couldn't believe it. He's like, I brought Sancho and Rashford on for penalties. He's like, it was time to take the risk then. He's like, if I took the risk earlier, we would have lost the game. Basically saying, like, if I bring Sancho and Rashford on, we're losing. They're going to fuck it up. I couldn't... Well, it's like... Why would you say that about your players?
Well, it's like, you might lose, or second option, you might win. Like, why are you trying to go to penalties with Donnarumma in goal? The man is a man mountain. Like, he's saved like 20 penalties in the Serie A. He's 22. Why would you go to penalties with him?
I just saw the Italian team, literally the most confident, relaxed team I've ever seen before a penalty shootout. And Southgate went, let's bring him to the penalties. Bonucci and Chiellini were both on yellow cards. You could have brought on Sancho to just run at them, or Rashford, just run at them. Maybe one of the times they're going to fuck up. Like, those are two very fast men they'll be wary of. Like,
and how long did they leave on Mason Mount as well?
Oh, man.
Like, they didn't... He had all these options on the bench, and he brought them on to miss penalties.
Yeah.
Like, you had so many options. They were clearly tired. Like, they took off Verratti. They took off... I mean, Locatelli was decent, but he's not Verratti. You know what I mean? Like, they took off some of their best players because they were tired. I mean, they took off Rice, who... he had an excellent game, to be fair.
Yeah,
Declan
really.
Rice. But he came off for Henderson because he was tired. Like, Kane stays on the whole game because he can score a penalty. It's like... And who else can definitely score a penalty that you have? Because, like... And fucking Pickford did excellently in the goal for them.
Annoyingly so, because he was... It seemed like I've never seen a player more aware that there's a camera on him at all times.
Yeah, no,
he's so over the top all the time. Or like during the penalty shootouts when he was like talking to himself, he's like, yeah, no problem, after saving a penalty. He's like, come on, man.
Yeah, no, he was pretty good in the penalty shootout, but I mean, I don't know why they decided that was the best option when you had the likes of Bellingham, Saka, Rashford, Sancho, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Has he even played this tournament? Barely played. All these players on the bench.
Up top, and you're like, let's never even look at Calvert-Lewin, the player who does that.
Yeah, like that's not Kane's game at all. Boy, like I mean, if Kane is dropping so deep, then bring on Calvert-Lewin as well, but play two up front.
Kane,
Like,
I need you to drop into midfield, and we're going to kick the ball where you're supposed to be.
And then Sterling can maybe run and dive, and Mount can do. Like, look, I mean, I think I like Mount. I think he's a really good player.
Yeah.
But I mean, his job was not to dribble the ball and take shots outside the box. That's Jack Grealish's job. So Mount knows that if he wanted me to do that, he'd bring on Jack Grealish, because that's what he's done the whole tournament. So he knew that his job was to try and compete in the middle with Jorginho and Barella and Verratti, which he wasn't doing, because he was kind of playing like a two behind Kane in a weird. I don't think he probably knew exactly where he was meant to be. It wasn't working, and it's like, oh yeah, but that quote, oh, we might have lost. Like,
you might have lost on penalties.
You might have lost. You might have won. I mean, that is kind of the whole crux of the game here, Gareth. You might win, you might lose, but you have to actually try and win it. I mean, to think that penalties was their best option. England in penalties against
Wembley
this goalkeeper.
well. And as well, like the lads he subbed on to take the penalties, like bringing Rashford on to take a penalty. I think Rashford even said it in his, like, he did a statement after the game. He's like, it was quite a lot of pressure to come on and kick a penalty when I haven't kicked a ball all tournament pretty much. Like, and he's like, yeah, I score penalties all the time, no problem. But he was like, something felt off walking up. Probably the pressure, man. You hadn't kicked a ball all season. Like, I don't know. I just couldn't believe. I thought the Europa League final was going to be the last time I'd see a manager go for penalties like that.
Oh, it was, whatever about Villarreal, they had a. You might say that was maybe the right choice there. Who knows? But like the bench that England had and just didn't use, like Southgate, the coward Gareth Southgate. We've said it all tournament. That's what happened. Will he was static on the bench. He had all these players to pick from. I mean, Germany and Portugal and all these other teams, would have loved to have the options they had off the bench to come on and change the game. And Kane staying on the whole game was bizarre to me. It was completely bizarre. Like he just became undroppable, which was that was the whole point of this team. There was no wags. There was no golden generation ego. It was all just young lads who love playing football. Except Kane. Kane can't come off. We bring one striker in Dominic Calvert-Lewin who actually isn't going to play at all, and Kane's going to drop deep and kick the ball up to Sterling, who's going to try and dive and win a penalty. I mean, it was just changes. Fucking change it somehow, but and look, 6 subs as well, so it wasn't like you're not even. I mean, it's what we're saying about Deschamps and who's the lad we're saying, the other manager,
Lowe for Germany.
Lowe, yes, that like initially it's like, oh, they've done so well to get to win finals. Then you look back and you go, well, hang on, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe you've wasted the talent here a bit. Yeah. Like only one tournament here, because obviously the benchmark is Spain, who won 3 tournaments in a row. It's like that, is our team less talented than theirs, or is that just they had a better plan? I mean, this is never going to fall this way for England again. I mean, first of all, in these last generations, they're never going to have a tournament at home again.
No, definitely not. they made sure of that.
They made sure of that. That's not happening again. I mean, the easy side of the draw, I mean, it happens. It can't happen again.
They've got 2 tournaments in a row, but you'd be surprised if it happens 3 tournaments in a row.
Be happy if it happens. Be surprised if it happens 3 tournaments in a row. It won't be, all the games won't be in Wembley again. This was a great team. This was a huge opportunity for them.
Yeah, like, I think it's never going to get any not easier, I suppose, but this was the one. The final was in Wembley.
Yeah, like this Italian team, like, we can't forget that I was right from the start.
The most important aspect of all this.
Leave for dark horse. Put your house. Take all your savings. Put it. Don't care about the odds. Don't look at the odds. Just put all your money on Italy to win the Euro 2020. That's a no nonsense guarantee. Yeah, email in and tell us what you bought with your winnings from the bets that you placed on my prediction. No, I mean, I called them from the start based on one pre-match article in The Guardian saying that Italy had a really good unbeaten streak. And I went, oh, fuck.
That guy knows what he's talking about.
That's all it took for me to back them all the way. They have won it. But, I mean, this team isn't going to win the World Cup in 18 months. No chance.
I'd be very surprised, yeah. very, very surprised.
Like Chiellini and Bonucci, I wouldn't be surprised if Chiellini retired now. I mean, he's got over the line.
Bonucci, there was an interview with Bonucci. He said he's going to try convince Chiellini to play the World Cup as well. But that's already like, now you're trying to get him to even play in the tournament. Where this one, it was like, this is my last one. Like he's not going to be as up for it, is he?
There's two ways you can go. You can go like Muller and Kroos in embarrassment to England as they're all jeering off the pitch.
Yeah.
Even though they've won the World Cup and all that stuff, that's all good and well, but that's how they go out. Or you can go out singing "It's Coming to Rome."
Yeah.
It's coming Rome. It's coming Rome.
Which did they make that up on the spot?
I think there's a few bits beforehand. They're obviously all very aware of that.
They all hate it as well. Like very like, if we didn't know already from Schmeichel's face during the has it ever been home question, Bonucci running up to the camera and screaming it was,
It's coming to Rome. It's coming to Rome.
Yeah, like after the game, they're asking him. I don't know what they're asking, but he was like, day in, day out, all we've heard, it's coming home. Ever since the Denmark game, it's coming home, it's coming home. Yeah. Well, now it's taking a nice little flight back to Rome. And he stopped himself then and started talking about like, oh, and Italians home abroad, celebrate this day. It's a great day for Italians. But like, because you remember Schmeichel, you think he lives in England. He's lived in England a long, long time. So there's nothing lost in translation for him. He knows exactly what it means, exactly what English people are like. But you're kind of not sure if it translates abroad. They really understand how annoying it is. Yes, they do.
Well, I don't know if you saw what the Italian president or prime minister, one of the like leaders, said to Mancini after the game. Is like, you've put a smiles on lots of people's faces, not just in Italy. Do you think there's ever been so much activity on Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp in Ireland as there was after the last penalty? I would say,
I know, yeah,
it was off the hook everywhere.
Yeah, no, I will say I hate to see it go on a miss. I mean, I know, look, it was a save from Donnarumma, but I mean, for the three of them to miss three in a row, I was like, well, at least they're not on their own, you know.
It was literally the three lads. You'd be like, oh, I hope he doesn't miss. He'll really get it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. Not surprisingly, unfortunately, it's you know.
But it's the three youngest players that took penalties. Like, that's a lot of pressure.
The three youngest black players who were all abused racially online after the game.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it's Rashford's mural was defaced. Again, there's infinitely more people in support, and they're sending support to them. It's just that, you know, it's like, you know, one bad apple spoils the bunch. You know, if that element is there, this gives an opportunity to grow and to get even a more percentage of the people who are that way inclined. Because like the social media companies could, you know, root them out. I mean, all it would take was an ID for your social media, and that'd be it. Yep. But they're like, nah, don't want to do that. Not ours. Let's let them just abuse people online and get away with it, and see how far this can go. See where this ends up. This constant abusing of black players online after they miss a penalty. And like, it's grand to have all the people who are in favour. Obviously, most people are. Most people, I say, are decent. But it's just that small minority of people who go unpunished. It's a minority now, but like, how long before that turned into a full-scale fucking, you know, something really dangerous?
After the game on BBC, I saw Shearer was like, oh, like that will hurt them. It's like, it's going to take a long time to get over that. He was like, trust me, I know. And I was thinking, like, you don't really know now. There was no social media. Like, you could go home and switch off for a night. These boys are going to be surrounded by this for the rest of their lives. Like,
yeah, I mean, they are young, like I say. Like I was saying about Mbappe, it is like, I don't know what age Southgate was when he missed that penalty, but like that was kind of it for him. Yeah, he didn't, you know. Whereas Rashford and Sancho, especially, and hopefully Saka too, they can go on to win a lot more in their career, to be remembered for a lot more than you know, that penalty they missed in the final at one time. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully it's kind of onward and upward for them, and I think there has been a huge outpouring of support to kind of overcompensate for the, for
Yeah.
what everyone knows they're going through, because you see it yourself online how fucking horrible people can be.
Well, I think it's like that with Prem teams a lot as well, where from here anyway, whenever like there's an international break or something, you're always kind of hoping like, hopefully Rashford just doesn't go. And you see that online as well, of like fans of the clubs being like, oh, don't fucking bring him. Like, we want to win the league. But then when there's an international tournament, you're like, England. And then it's back to, actually, no, it's the club that I actually care about. So I do think like those players, they'll get a lot of support now over the next while. I'd be surprised if there's any fans of those clubs that are still giving them grief as the season goes on over it. Like, do you know what I mean? I think
I don't
of
think
other
that
clubs.
Yeah, I don't think there's any kind of booing of English players or anything like that. I think, like I said, you were more cynical than me, saying, "Oh yeah, no matter what happens, they're dead. They're dead."
Yeah.
But I think my only gripe would be with Southgate. I think he bottled it.
Yeah,
I think
so
Southgate bottled it. They had the initiative there, and look, I think Italy were a better team. I think they had I think the two best teams in the tournament got the final. To be fair, I mean, not the best players individually. I think France and maybe even Belgium had better players individually than England and maybe even Italy, but they were the two best teams. Sure, different sides of the draw, all that, and home advantage, all that stuff. Like I say, but fair play to all of them for getting to the final. Like the Shaw and that, they had a great tournaments. Shaw is still getting, jibes from Mourinho. I mean, honestly, we shouldn't even talk about it. We shouldn't fucking give it airtime, because it's gone beyond funny or sad.
Now it's just like you're an old bitter arsehole. Like, he's just a dickhead.
Who's he working for? Doesn't he have the Roma job? Shouldn't he be focusing on preseason? Like, honest to God, man. Yeah. But yeah, that was a great tournament for me, Will. I really enjoyed this.
I thought the final was savage as well. Like, it was. Remember we were saying in the last episode, like, it's either going to be brutal game or it'll be a brutal game, but you'll be edging and stuff.
Yeah.
It was the second one.
Yeah, it was a brutal game. Honestly, it was like I was saying, England want to be the underdog so bad, and what they do, they scored too early. They scored early.
Oh, I knew. When it happened, I was going to message you like, scored too early, but much like Jermaine Genius, I didn't want to jinx anything. I was like, I won't say.
That stuff matters. We all know. Yeah, they scored too early and defended the whole game and couldn't hang on. I mean, you got to feel for them. You can put everything aside and go, yeah, I know what it feels like, lads. It's a tough ask to defend for literally the entire game.
It's happened to us against Bulgaria. You don't need to. We didn't even make it to penalties in those games.
Oh, God. So, I mean, an unbelievable tournament. Probably, I would say, as an adult, the first time I've watched almost every single game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, from not having a life or going outside and so what are your what's your abiding memories from the tournament, your abiding moments, good, bad and different?
I'll pick 3. I'd say 1, Ericsson nearly dying. That was good. That was mad. Schick's goal from half, because that was like the first. The magic of the international tournament. And 3, probably Bonucci screaming "It's coming Rome" at the end. That kind of summed it all up. Like, I think they'd be my 3 big ones. What about you?
Yeah, I'll never forget Eriksson's lifeless body. I'll never forget seeing Eriksson die on the pitch, because we did. He died for like 5 minutes. We watched a man die on our screens at like 3 p.m. on RTE.
Yeah, they definitely.
And it wasn't even real in the ears.
Yeah, thinking back, they definitely should have cut away.
I'll say as well, the fucking the renaissance of the wingbacks. I've never seen so many wingbacks in
we didn't even
so many
mention
teams.
We didn't even mention the right back power rankings that ended for England with Rashford playing right back for the last 2 minutes of a game by choice. That was weird as well. He nearly cost them the game before they got to penalties, because he was so focused on bringing on penalty takers that he just put them anywhere right before a corner.
Yeah, I'd say his stomach fell out his arse there when there was 3 minutes of added time at the end of extra time. It's like, oh, I thought it was over. And then, Rashford on one leg had to go play right back. They brought 4 right backs to the tournament, and they end up with Marcus Rashford nearly conceding the goal from right back. That would have been Southgate's goose cooked. He has to hand in your gun and your badge. You're out. You fucking blew it. Yeah, well, sorry. So I had Christian Eriksen, and then I had the right back, the wing backs, left and right wing backs. And then I think probably Chiellini and
Alba.
Alba.
Yeah. That was excellent as well.
That was bizarre. I'll never forget that, because I'm just like, it's like, somebody stop it. Like, the referees were kind of like, should we blow the whistle? Should we stop this? And Alba was like on his own, no teammates around. He was awful, terrible to watch. But
I don't know if you saw as well the punchline to the running drink sponsorship gag after the final. Of Bonucci drinking everything.
I think I deserve this.
I'm celebrating.
Yeah. I suppose, Will, we should the team of the year, the team of the tournament has been announced today, the official one. Will we give it a go?
We'll give it a go.
I suppose same as last year. We'll do the back line, middle, and go each and each. So yeah, I suppose starting goal. A lot of candidates for this one.
Yeah,
this was actually harder to pick than I thought it would be, to be honest. Because I was like, oh yeah, I got it. And then it was like, oh, he played well. In goal, you had Schmeichel, obviously, huge turn for him. Yeah, his performance against England alone would nearly get him the team. I do remember that one he kind of threw in against Finland. Now, look, that was a big game. I'm not even taking that away from him. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I was maybe a mistake.
He had other things going on in that game, so you can't really hold that against him. Unbelievable in that tournament. Jan Sommer, of course, again, a heroic performance against France, and the save, Mbappe save to get them through. Yeah. And then another performance against Spain, even better probably. But I'm going to go with player of the tournament, Donnarumma in goal. Consistently did it against really good teams. Didn't have a lot of saves to make in that game, but still came up trumps in the penalty shootout for Italy. So I think I'll give Donnarumma in goal. You give me your goal now. Your goal, yeah.
Same as, I think the penalty shootout. I think if you save penalties in a final, I mean, it doesn't get any bigger than that really. And he had already had a great tournament. So yeah, Donnarumma's for me as well.
Yeah. I'm going. I'm just going forward the back. Even though I've just talked about wing backs,
you don't want five. You don't want to be a coward.
What am I, some kind of coward? Yeah. So I think the two centre backs, again, tough choice. A lot of good centre back performances. I mean, the English defence, they conceded 2 goals, one from play, but I think it was more kind of like as a unit. All of them together, so it's hard to kind of to give one individual in terms of centre backs. Maguire, Stones. I'm going with Chiellini ahead of Bonucci, but again, either or, you couldn't go wrong with either one. Yeah. And then I'm going with Kjær as well from Denmark. I think he was excellent for them to get that far. Just his leadership alone, from the Eriksen incident onwards, he was just excellent for them. The fullbacks then at right back, again, a lot of good wing backs, a lot of good right backs. Kyle Walker did prove me wrong eventually.
Yeah, he sure did.
But he did have some poor games earlier on. He was dropped for James at one point. They changed it around. He wasn't a definite starter. He didn't have as good a tournament as others. Dumfries lit up the group stages, but I think his last 16 exits kind of maybe puts him out. Koufal also played well with the Czech Republic, but I'm going to go with Meunier for Belgium. He played kind of wing back for them, but he was very solid throughout all the games. Even against Italy, I think he had a very good game. Just was unlucky to be on the wrong side of that one. You go here.
Who do you have left back?
Oh, left back. Another tough one. I'm still on the fence. I'm not sure.
I think there's two main choices.
Mainly for Denmark. That wing back up down the wings. Fancy legend. This tournament. He plays as a right wing back for Atalanta. Usually, but he played left back in this tournament. Left wing back for Denmark. So they have Goossens on as a right back, as a right wing back, and Meili as left left and right wing backs for Atlanta. That's why they're so fucking good. That's why Atlanta, you've heard so much about them. Yeah. But no, he was up there. Also, Spinazzola obviously was excellent for Italy.
Yeah.
And they definitely missed him when he was gone, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I think Emerson had a decent game in the final, but, without Spinazzola, it was a huge loss. Zuber for Switzerland. 4 assists there. He didn't start the tournament. They had Schär there and they had Rodriguez left back. And I think when they got pumped by Italy 3-0, they said, all right, we got to he made Immobile look like a world beater here. We got to change this up. They dropped Schär and put Rodriguez in the back 3 and brought in Zuber. And from there, he got 4 assists in the tournament. Really improved Switzerland to the point where they beat France and came very close to beating Spain. Yeah. But then Shaw also had a pretty good tournament. Consistently throughout had a really good. When you think that they had Trippier because they couldn't trust Shaw as a defence team, I mean that was he got that one so wrong. Shaw had an excellent tournament at left back, like. So I'm thinking between Shaw and Zuber, but I'm going to give it to Shaw just because I don't have any England players in the defence so far. I'll give it to Shaw. I'll give them one. So I'll put Shaw on their left back.
So centre backs, I'm going with Bonucci over Chiellini. Again, could have been either of them. But I think just the goal in the final kind of summed it up again, where it's like that kind of pushed him over the edge. For me. So Bonucci and my big man Harry Maguire beside him.
Of course.
I thought he was excellent. But as like he was, we said earlier in the season, I think if he's not playing in that team, you'd miss him. He's always that defender, like does a lot until he's gone. Then you're like, oh fuck, he was a lot better than we thought. And then right back, I think I might go Dumfries, but he did crash out pretty early. But I think it was just like he was banging in goals from like a right back banging in goals and bursting onto the scene, all that stuff.
Well, I kept on my team was that one against Czech Republic where he thought they had the ball and he just bombed the pitch like way too early. It's like, oh, and it was like it's one mistake, obviously, but I mean, these are the margins for me.
I think we'll go Dumfries right back, left back.
Fair enough.
I'm torn between Shaw and Spinazzola. I think Spinazzola though, because I think he was just unfortunate to get injured, but he was crucial to Italy up until then, and I think the final probably would have been a bit easier for Italy if they had him there. Like Emerson looked like Emerson for the final. I thought he just looked exactly like we thought.
Emerson was saved by them scoring so early because, they didn't even get a chance to exploit that wing. If they'd seen wait a minute, this guy's terrible, they may have actually gone for it, but so I'm going Spinazzola left back. Prayers up Spinazzola because even when he comes back, he has to be a left back under Jose Mourinho. So
no,
this team of the year might be the highlight of his career. For the rest of his career, who knows?
Ask how that is for the other team of the year member.
Yeah. So prayers up for Spinazzola in all senses. In the middle, then again, a lot of good performances in the middle. I'll give another one to England because I think he was as big a part of the defence as Maguire or Shaw or anyone else. Calvin Phillips.
Great player.
What an engine on him. Jesus. Yeah. I mean, 25, one Premier League season under his belt. Mm-hmm. He was excellent for them. Like I say, huge part of the defence and keeping things very solid from the back. Give him a good base to let Sterling run and dive into the box. So, he gets in there along with Jorginho, of course, as well. He got a lot of plaudits. People are talking about Ballon d'Or for him. He's got the
that's insane. Imagine that.
The Champions League and the European Cup, the European Championship, I should say. And then like I said, a few of the people. I mean, Xhaka had a good tournament for a bit. He obviously got himself suspended, so I kind of counts him out. Pogba, even you'd say, had a good tournament. I mean, it was last 16. It's hard to give someone last 16.
They have to be new on the scene. Like you have to be like someone like, oh, he did well to get to there. You can't be like, you can't be the star of the team and he crashed out very early, but he was good.
Verratti, of course, Barella also. All the Italian midfield had a good tournament. Højbjerg and Delaney were excellent for Denmark again. But I'm going to give it to young Pedri. I think. You know, he because there was talk about like why is he starting ahead of Thiago before the tournament, which would have made sense. I think most people would have said, yeah, Thiago, Koke, Busquets. That's what it's going to be. And he played that first game, which they drew, I think, against Sweden, and it was like, oh, here, backwards, sideways. Like, come on, we need someone with a bit of fucking experience to get through these defenses. This is where everyone's going to play against us. And Enrique stuck with him, and he had a great tournament in the end. Young player tournament, of course, as well. Yeah. So yeah, he gets in there in my middle three.
So I'm going 4-2-3-1. So my middle two is our boy Pedri as well, just because 18 and doing what he's doing is mental. And then like I said, it could be any of the Italians. I'm going with Barea. I think he was just my favourite of the boys they had, because I think he's like very tenacious and all that stuff. And I loved watching him. So that'd be my two.
He was great.
Field.
Then I suppose I'll go my I'll do my two out wide then, and you can do yours after that. So on the right, again, it was a tough one. I love to give to Yarmolenko, but again, just maybe didn't do enough against England. Not that anybody did a lot against England for Ukraine, but he had a very good tournament. Other than that, Chiesa, I think, is probably the standout for me. Again, didn't start the tournament. Berardi looked good in the first two games. Chiesa played himself in. Just his energy and his physicality, and then his unbelievable finishing ability as well. Yeah. I saw him playing for Juve in the Champions League. I thought it was excellent in a game that Ronaldo didn't play that well in. So yeah, Chiesa makes it there on the right, and then on the left, I went for Forsberg for Sweden. 4 goals from the left of midfield for Sweden. Unlucky, should have scored maybe a couple more against Ukraine, would have got them against England, and who knows what might have happened. But again, a player I wasn't really aware of before the tournament. I thought he had played very well. Scored in every game they scored in, Forsberg, so I think he probably deserves a spot on the team. Yeah,
for my wingers, I think Chiesa definitely easy enough choice, because and again, it's the same thing of like good all tournament, but then to step it up in the final to be even better is that's massive. Like, then the other wing, might go with your man Damsgaard for Denmark.
Oh yeah,
the
very
young
good,
chap.
good choice.
Thought he was excellent. I'd like to see him move around somewhere. Who does he play for actually?
I don't know. I think it's maybe somewhere in Germany.
Yeah, I'd like to see him bounce around Europe now. And I'm gonna do
not in a good way though. Not in like
no, like bounce up Europe, bounce up the tiers of Europe.
I like to see him waste his 20s just bouncing around clubs, not getting games. I think he deserves that.
I'm going to be the opposite of Southgate. I'm not going to be a coward. I'm going to go 4-2-4 now that I think of it, because
4-2-4. Wow.
Yeah, because I was thinking there's more strikers that impressed me than cams. I think I don't know how well this would do in an actual game, but
well, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to do your strikers first?
Yeah. Just look up there. Damsgaard, he plays for Sampdoria.
Yeah.
Just signed for them last year, so I mean, it'll cost you a pretty penny to get Damsgaard on the books. Up front then, a lot of good options, but I think I'm going to go with Patrick Schick, Big Paddy Schick up front. Scored arguably the goal of the tournament, not for me, but I'm sure for others might say the goal of the tournament. Good in the group stages, got a goal against Netherlands, knocked them out, really good finish. And then got a goal against Denmark, even though they lost, which is always a sign of a really good player when you're not on top and not winning the game. So, big part of why Czech probably went as far as they did. So he's up there, up top, and he completes the front three.
So up top, I'm going with the main man, Ronaldo, because
I knew you'd pick Ronaldo. I knew you'd pick
he's top scorer. He's 5 goals, top scorer.
How many How many goals did he score inside the group stages?
0.
I'll help you out there, Will. 0. And how many goals did he score from penalties?
3, was it?
3 of the 5, yeah.
5 goals is a lot, though, in a tournament, man.
Yeah, well, so did Paddy Schick.
Yeah, that is also unbelievable.
I mean, Portugal were fine for the whole tournament, right? I mean, you can't put Ronaldo in there. I knew you'd pick him, but I cannot believe it.
They have to be new on the scene. Like, you have to be like someone like, oh, he did well to get to there. You can't be like fucking. You can't be the star of the team and like, he crashed out very early, but he was good. I'm blinded by bias, Carl. You know this by now. And then beside him, I'm going with. I was going to pick Schick, but you picked Schick. I don't want to just. We have like the same team.
Well, look, we're on the same page in a lot of things. You know, that's why this podcast works so well.
I'm going to go Benzema because I thought just for the things he was doing, that goal, where he bounced it with his foot while he was running ahead of it, stuff like that, and especially like coming into a team that very clearly did not like him and scoring goals was very impressive to me, even though he was probably the downfall of the tournament for them. Yeah, Benzema for me.
Fair enough. I hate that team. I hate that team, honestly. But look, we can differ on some things. I suppose that the last. Well, look, the best thing is that we get to post on Instagram and find out who listens to the podcast and who doesn't. Because I think we've argued a point well there. I can't wait to argue it again on Instagram. And the last thing, I suppose, Will, just a bit of just tidying up here now.
We'll do this pretty quick.
Just a bit of admin here. The fantasy football. I suppose I'll get the app up. I mean, look, I'm going to feel a bit emotional uninstalling the Euro 2020 app. I've been on it every single day.
Good riddance.
We'll just bring up the.
We've got to get money together, I guess. To
oh yeah,
at least we didn't have to pay the bounty. That's good.
The bounty was not collected. No. You failed, listeners. You failed to get
one
the
job
on that one. We'll go to the top 5, starting in number 5. Horses don't run, they can't. A late push back into the top 5 for him. Number 4, Pinot Griezmann. Again, a late entrance to top 5. Congratulations to you as well. Slumdog Mingale, number 3. Who saw that coming? You know,
good bounce.
And then FC Club de Mixer in 2nd, and Bournemouth FC. Look, Will, consistent performer all tournaments, a worthy winner, 381 points. Look, what can you say, Will? I mean, congratulations to Johnny.
Congratulations to my older brother who has confirmed that he knew more about this tournament than me, the man who researched it and did a podcast on it. Good stuff. Love to see it.
Well, a lot of these things are luck, you know, a lot of things are luck. But no, fair play to Johnny. I mean, if you want Johnny, you can send us an email, even though we know what you want. But you can send us an email anyways, just to have it in writing.
See if that email works.
Yeah, I took some risks the last day myself, and I said, you know what, they're going to score a scrappy goal, Italy. That's how it's going to go. Finals always have shitty, scrappy goals, and the man to score that will be Belotti, because he always comes on. Like, that is exactly the kind of man.
He was shy when they brought him on.
All tournaments he's been shy. It was actually Bonucci who scored the scrappy goal. That was the kind of goal that I thought Belotti would score. Yeah, it wasn't to be. I left Shaw on the bench for Belotti.
I had a moment where I was the same. I wanted to take risks. It's like, because I said it at the end of the last episode, it's like you have to have a weird captain because people on top are just going to stay consistent. And I said it on the last episode, put Shaw captain, something might happen. I thought I did that. The goal scored. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Time to check my app, went in. I never did it. I did it in my head. I had like someone. I think I had Kane captain still. It's like he's not going to score.
Yeah, I had Insignia's captain. He got booked 1 point. I mean, I fell a place there. I mean, looking back, if Shaw even Shaw just played, I would have been up to maybe 6. I may have made the top 5. You know, who knows? But well, I guess we do know mathematically. But whatever. Point
who won between me and you?
I
think it was close.
Again, Will, if you're not first, you're last in this league.
Yeah,
there's literally no prizes other than the top one. So, I mean, you've got to count that for yourself.
I think I'm below you. Yeah.
Yeah, well, 6 points. I got 6 points more than you. 9 and 11. You're joined 10th actually with the Never Believe a Striker. So, yeah. No, poor performance for us, Will, I have to say.
Very poor. That was definitely my lowest ever fantasy finish, easily.
Yeah, like I say, I think of all the people who were trying, we came last. So, not good for us. Not good for us at all.
Did I finish above anyone but Will Byrne in the end?
Oh yeah, I think he's Ronaldo's captain. So
well, he's loyal like me. He's in his team of the year.
Yeah. That I suppose about does it, Will. Great tournament. I've really enjoyed it.
Yep, very good.
I know at the end of every episode, Roy Keane likes to disparage us as the last thing we said. So we can look forward to whatever we finish this on, him just having a go. But in all seriousness, great tournament. Glad to have done it with you. And onward to the Premier League season next, I suppose. Hopefully we'll see you all there.
I think we've 4 weeks till the Prem starts. So buckle up for the next 4 weeks of who knows.
Buckle up. So yeah, we'll see you then. And oh no, I hear the music, Will. It's starting. He's starting. He's going to say it's nonsense. It's not nonsense. We love you. We enjoyed this. We swear.
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense. But listen, I've been on that road before.
It's coming through! It's coming through!
Nonsense. Fucking nonsense. Why should we accept somebody talking nonsense? Like, what would you say? Just why are you talking nonsense about us? Why are you talking rubbish?